Dreamers, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Lenise. This is Elsie Enchanted, and I saw Aladdin last night. I'm so excited to share with you my thoughts about this Aladdin movie. This is a non-spoiler review. I honestly don't think I need to put any spoilers in here. I think I can definitely get my feelings for the movie and my opinions for the movie across without spoiling anything. So don't worry if you haven't seen this movie. This review is safe to watch. I want to first just kind of shout out this new shirt that I got. I got it after the movie actually. I had no Aladdin gear to wear to the movie. I actually picked this up at Walmart after going to the movie. It was $5, so it was a great steal. So it just says, "Here I am. What are your other two wishes?" And it has the genie, and I also have my Moana ears. Yes, it's Moana, but it's also very shiny like the lamp, and the blue matches the genie. So leaving the movie theater after watching Aladdin, my overall emotion was happy. I actually really enjoyed the movie, and I didn't think that I would enjoy it as much as I did. They did a great job. They did a better job than I anticipated. Will Smith as the genie stole the show. He did a great job. He pretty much nailed it, and he brought his own style into this character. He definitely didn't, you know, attempt to mimic Robin Williams. I think if he did, that would be definitely in poor taste. But they also paid homage to Robin Williams' character when they were kind of, you know, making the genie more of like a cartoon character, you know, multiplying his body, you know, making him really small, whatever. So, you know, that was kind of mimicked a little bit, but at the same time, like, Will Smith as the genie was like so much different from Robin Williams. It was a refreshing spin on the character, and I really liked seeing it. I loved seeing him on screen, interacting with everyone else. Moving on from the genie, I was not really excited for the actor that was playing Aladdin. He is very attractive. He has a really nice voice, but he didn't seem like Aladdin to me. Now, I mean, he still doesn't. I'm still on the fence about it. I enjoyed, you know, him being on the screen, but it was still different from the Aladdin that we know, you know, in the animated classic. But he did a, you know, a good job, you know, with his acting. He has a really nice voice, like I said, and he was great to look at. The actor choice for Jasmine was pretty much spot on. I mean, I don't know who else could have played her, but she did a really great job too. She was very strong. She was very emotional. She has a beautiful singing voice. She is just beautiful, and she's very talented. So great job with choosing Jasmine. I really liked her father in the movie. I know a lot of people were kind of like, I want the short, funny father, but I didn't like the father in the classic. I thought he was annoying. He was just so jolly, and I mean, that can be funny sometimes, but I didn't really care for it. So seeing her father be, you know, an actual sultan was really refreshing, and I enjoyed that. Jafar was my least favorite. I had my suspicions in the trailer that he just wasn't going to live up to the Jafar that we know in the animated classic, and I was pretty much right. He just was too soft for the Jafar that I wanted. I don't like Jafar at all. Not like in this movie, just like in general, I don't like Jafar as a villain, but he was, you know, funny at times in the animated classic and very sarcastic. He kind of like is the human Scar, you know, him and Scar are very similar, and I just did not get that from this film. He just had no bass in his voice. He didn't scare me. He was a little bit intimidating, but even when he was like turning into, you know, the most powerful sorcerer, it was visually beautiful to see, but like, he just wasn't scary, and that fell flat for me, and I was disappointed with that. Abu and the magic carpet, such a cute character dynamic. I absolutely love them both. Also, Iago was horrible. Oh my gosh, I'm just, like, if honestly you could bring James Earl Jones to reprise his role as Mufasa, I really wish they would have brought Gilbert Gottfried to reprise his role as Iago. I know his voice is very high-pitched and like harsh and loud and sometimes annoying, but he did really great voice acting for Iago. This Iago was just a regular parrot, and it was just annoying and very disappointing. So I would say overall casting was great. They even brought in a new character, Princess Jasmine's handmaid Dahlia. I loved her. She's really funny. She's from SNL, at least that's what I know her from SNL, and she's also in New Girl, one of my favorite shows. So it was really nice to see her play someone kind of different in this movie. She was absolutely funny. Her character dynamic with the genie was just spot on. I loved it. So one of the things that I loved most besides the genie is the actual music. I loved absolutely sitting in my seat, singing all of the songs, especially A Whole New World. I didn't really like how it sounded in the beginning. It sounded kind of like 90s R&B a little bit, which I do like that genre in general, but I can't really explain it, but like the instrumentals sound kind of like old school, I guess you could say. And don't get me wrong, I do like old school music, but not for like this kind of modern take on the movie, if that makes sense. But once it started to pick up and it started to sound like the song that we heard in the trailer, I was just jamming, I was singing, it was so good. I could not stop singing it. After the movie, my boyfriend was like, stop singing. And I couldn't stop singing. I loved it. One Jump Ahead was great. Just all the songs, they did a really good job. I loved it. That was probably my favorite part. I went into the movie with the idea that I was going to watch a Broadway show or a Broadway play because of some things that I heard before going to the actual movie, and it was actually right. It does feel more of like a Broadway show, you know, a play, just with the way they kind of do the music, the way they do some of the scenes, the way Aladdin keeps like reprising One Jump Ahead. It definitely has that like theatrical feeling to it. You either like it or you don't. I didn't personally mind it. I mean, I've never really seen a Broadway play as an adult before, so it was fine, but it's just like I'm watching a movie, so it kind of felt weird. But at the same time, I've seen movies where it felt like a play, which I really, really loved. Chicago is one. Les Mis is absolutely my favorite musical movie, so those definitely had plays to it. I mean, High School Musical, if you want to go Disney, that kind of felt like a play too. But this kind of had a different feeling, and I honestly can't pinpoint what made it different from like the other Broadway play movies, I guess. Something just wasn't right, but it didn't like ruin the movie. You just either liked it or you didn't. I didn't really like how they did some of the choreography. It was kind of like choppy and like robotic, and they kind of sped up the choreography, like in One Jump Ahead, and I think in there was this whole like dance number. It was like an instrumental song, and also I think in Friend Like Me, maybe not, definitely at the end, because after the movie, kind of when the beginning credits roll without the actual actors' names, they do like a dance sequence of Friend Like Me, and they sped up the choreography too. Like, you know, those dancers are not moving that fast. It's kind of like a half speed increase or something. It was weird. Like, they did that with a lot of the choreography, and I just don't know why. Like, if you can't make your actors really dance like that to the speed of the music, then go a different route, because it didn't really look good, at least in my opinion. Also, they gave Jasmine her own song in this movie, which they didn't do in the classic, and I know a lot of people had issues with that because she's a princess. Why not give her her own song? So I guess they rectified that by giving Jasmine her own song in this movie, which was a really good song. The issue that I had with it was that she starts singing it for like 30 seconds, a minute, in kind of like the beginning, early, middle part of the film. And it was kind of like a short and sweet beginning of the song. I didn't know that she was going to sing the rest of it later on in the movie, but so she did that for like 30 seconds and a minute, and I was just like, oh, that's perfect. It's short and sweet. I mean, you could have made it longer, but it's fine, because at that point, I felt like the songs were kind of, not really back to back, because they weren't, but I'm just so weird, you guys. Sometimes, I mean, I love musicals, I like singing, I do like music, but sometimes when I feel like there's too many songs in a movie or something like that, or in a musical, I get annoyed. I don't know, I'm so weird. I don't know why. It's just, when I heard her singing, I was like, another song, okay. But I don't know, that's my honest opinion. But it was a good song. And when she started singing the rest of the song later, when things started getting tense, the placement of when she started singing, like the moment she started singing, I was like, this is not the time to be singing right now. Like, I was like, and my boyfriend said the same thing too. Like, he's not a musical person, so it made more sense coming from him, but he was just like, why is she singing right now? Like, this is not the time. And I actually agreed with him. I felt like that exact moment she started singing, it made sense for what was going on. I just didn't really care for it. That's just how I felt. Also, I really did like seeing Aladdin and Jasmine together. I just don't like how they were introduced together in the film. I don't want to try to ruin it for you guys, but in the trailer, you kind of see how he locks eyes on her and it's like time stands still, and that just did not happen in the film. And it's kind of like in the classic, you see Aladdin lock eyes on Jasmine, and then he goes to help her when that vendor thinks she's stealing. So the moment when the vendor thinks Jasmine is stealing is when Aladdin and Jasmine first meet, and that's when he first sees her in the film. So it felt very rushed, very forced, but whatever. After their magic carpet date and they kissed, I felt my heart fluttering for them. I thought like they did that scene really well. Oh, I forgot to mention Raja. Raja was great, of course. Honestly, like I said, you know, in the beginning of this video, after seeing the movie, I felt really happy. I really enjoyed it overall. And then I talked to my best friend and her mom about it on FaceTime, and it definitely brought my opinion a little lower, just because I started to actually think, and I was like, oh yeah, they didn't do that. Oh yeah, they did that kind of weird. Oh yeah, wait, what was that? So I definitely wanted to make my review after I slept on it for sure. And one more thing that I want to bring up is that they definitely went a different route during the Jafar climactic scene in the original classic that I didn't really like at all. They did it so much better in the animated part, you know, that whole like boss fighting scene was so much different in this one, and it just didn't do it for me. But you know, whatever, they lived happily ever after. It was great. Overall, I really did enjoy the movie. Even after sleeping on it and thinking about all the things that I didn't like, I still really did like it, and it's one of my favorite live action remakes from Disney. I think my first one still is Beauty and the Beast, just because I'm such a big fan of the movie anyway. But Aladdin, they did a really good job. I do recommend seeing it if you haven't. I'm sure it's a lot better than Dumbo, which I still haven't seen, and I don't plan on seeing it anytime soon. And please let me know down in the comments what you thought about it if you've seen it. Are you going to see it if you haven't? And if you're not going to see it, why? Let me know if you're a fan, because honestly, I'm not even like that much of an Aladdin fan. The classic was, you know, really good. Visually, it's beautiful. Robin Williams, of course, he killed it. He's what made the movie excellent, and I love the songs and everything like that, and I definitely respect and appreciate the movie. Actually, this live remake made me appreciate the film that much more. I know it's a bit convoluted. It's not really Arabia that they're representing. They're representing other cultures that don't really fall under the Arabian umbrella. It's so convoluted with how they did that film culturally. But, I mean, it's Disney, and so, I mean, this film, it was more like a Bollywood play kind of feel, and I really liked it. Also, I know it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but I kind of wish they would have explained the Cave of Wonders just a little bit more. It would make more sense if it was in a Jafar point of view movie, like from Jafar's perspective. If they made a movie like that, they can like explain what the Cave of Wonder is and how he came about it, because in the animated classic and in this film, it just kind of is sprung onto you, and you just, you know, you see a cave and it's alive, kind of. It's just weird. I don't know if it's explained in the Arabian Nights novel. I'm sure it is. I've never read it. I do plan to read it one day. I just wish we would kind of know more about it. But they did that, oh my god, they did that cave scene really well. It was beautiful. With the classic being like, what, an hour and a half, they just did so much better with a lot of the scenes that they did in this movie, even though this movie was over 2 hours long. It's kind of imbalanced a little bit with like how much they did in the animated classic versus what they didn't do in this over 2 hour long movie. They like took so much stuff away from this movie, but at the same time it's like still a lot longer. I don't know. I don't think it really kind of made up for what we lost in the animated classic. It was still really good. It's hard to really explain without spoiling anything. You just have to see it for yourself. And I know, I'm sorry, my opinions are kind of all over the place. But just so you know, overall, I really did enjoy it. And I gave it a 4 out of 5 yesterday. After speaking to my friend last night, it did drop to a 3.5. I'm gonna say a 3.8. It is a 3.8 out of 5 for me. And I'm sticking to it. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed my review, and if you've seen Aladdin and you really did like it, if you're an Aladdin fan. All of those reasons, give this video a thumbs up and click subscribe for more Disney videos that will be coming out on this channel, and also click on the bell notification so you don't miss a single one of them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye!